Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As I always start with these brake jobs, as I got the caliper twisted out, that way I can get better access to these back ones here. So we're just going to flick that off, like that. Bottom one's missing, I will grab that in a minute. And just get the screwdriver and just gently press back on the piston. Like so. It's quite stiff actually, that is. We flip around the front here, use the same screwdriver just to flick that out. Don't forget to pick that up either. And what I'm going to do is follow this hose back up to this joint here and just crack that off. And you'll see why in a minute now. And now we're going to come back to the rear sliders here. These are H7 Allen key. Before you loosen that one all the way, crack that one off too. Repeat the same process on that one there. Now with this undone, you can take this off, which gives you plenty of room on the cord to slide it in over here, away from our workspace, and it's not dangling on the hose. So now we're going to remove these two 15mm bolts holding the caliper carrier on. So we've got a long spanner, which makes light work of this. And just crack them off one at a time, because if you undo all of this one, or if you undo all of this one and then you do this one and it's swinging back and forth and hitting you in the face, and it just makes it a little bit easier just to have that stability there of both of them in, if that makes any sense to you. These are relatively new, like I said on the title of this video. This is actually a 2018, 19, I want to double check. So these bolts are relatively new, and they shouldn't have long been off apparently. It's quite easy to get them out. That's all I've put it on one side. That's going to need a good hammering to get it off. Now as you can see, there is actually plenty of friction material on these pads. There's not an issue with them at all. Fortunately at the back, the disc here tells a different story. It's not making full contact, the inner side is gone and it has a nasty lip. The customer actually had a bump, the wheel come off and it landed on this disc. So I can imagine there is a little bit of stress on this disc, which is causing a bit of a wobble and a whirling noise when braking. With a little bit of gentle persuasion, and that eventually comes off. Now it's time to clean everything up. Got the old trusty wire brush. These are from Connect Consumables. I'll have a link for everything that I use in the description for you to check out. And the parts, we're just literally going to go over everything and get this rust off. This hub was allegedly changed a couple of months ago, but I'm fairly confident that it was not. There we are. I've also cleaned up the carrier bracket here. This doesn't need much going over because it was just dust on here. It hasn't had a lot of brake build-up, or rust build-up, sorry, a vehicle of this age. So it's just a quick blast with the wire brush. And everything was fine. Right, now comes the slotting this disc back on. I have cleaned it off with some brake clean because it comes with the a rust proofing gel on it. See, that's all nice and dry. I'll clean that off, it's just where my fingers have been. We start to rebuild it, so carry it back on. obviously get this bottom one in before you crank the top one all the way down, just to make sure it's all lined up properly. Sometimes it's better to spend a little bit of extra time here than it would be to disassemble it later to fix what you've done wrong here from rushing. Then we're just going to crank it down nice and tight. I said we've got a Febby disc on there, so it's a nice good quality disc. We've got a set of blueprint pads on there now, which is a good set of quality pads as well. Now when it comes to putting these pads in, obviously there's a clip on the back one here, but you have to make sure that obviously goes into the caliper. And then we grease up these contact points with some lithium grease. These are anti-rattle shields. People at Blueprint know how to make these a lot better than I do, so I know I can trust them and not put any sort of lubricant or anti-seize on the back of this. And that just drops in nicely there. I like to wiggle it back and forth to get that grease sliding back and forth so it's a nice even coverage. And then we're going to set the caliper up. Now we've got the caliper set up here, so you can see this pad literally just pushes in and clips into place there, so it's nice and firm in there now, see? So now we're just going to clean up these guide slides, put some red rubber grease on. You can see here, guide pins are cleaned up, bit of red rubber grease on it, and slide it back into place. That'll keep it sliding nicely for a very long time. Now with the caliper in place, you want to make sure this lines up first, because you don't have to twist that flex or anything to get the caliper on, so if that all lines up, then pull the caliper down. Just cracking them down. Just nice and firm and snug in there. Replace these plastic ones. One was missing out, spare one in the van that I'm going to put on there. And there's that spare one going in. I'm going to get this retaining pin in. And what I usually do is sit it in like that. Get the pliers on the end tail. Flip it across. And finish off with refitting the terminal bolt holding the brake plug to stay in place. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more weekly updates. Thank you.